Yusha, uh, what do you want people to do if they have questions?
So um, so if you have any questions, you can just put your hand, or you can just ask me, or put your question in the chat box. Anything you want. So you can actually stop me during my presentation, so I can give you a prompt feedback on that. I think it's fine for me. So cool. And then the last part of this workshop is the textual analysis. So well, I'm going to walk you through some basic CAP packages in textual analysis, including topic modeling, and also the text mining package in R. They're very useful, and also tidyverse, stuff like that. So wait a second. Let me try to change my speaker to my headphone. So microphone. I think I should use this. Can you still hear me? Cool. So first of all, what is RQDA? Basically, RQDA is an R package for qualitative data analysis, and it can be used both on a Windows PC or Mac OS X platforms. And RQDA only supports plain text formatted data, which is the TXT file. And here's what I did. When I interviewed my research subjects, and then I will basically transcribe those audio files into a transcript. And then usually I just did it in the Word document, and then I just copy paste it in the TXT file. So with that, I can very easily import those files to RQDA. And that's how I did. And it's in R, and includes both the standard computer-aided qualitative data analysis features and other kind of the bonus features that's only be included in R. So for example, you can export your codes very easily and put that through another packages and do analysis on that, which means that statistical analysis on the coding is possible, data manipulation and analysis can be easily extended by writing the R functions. So regarding the features of RQDA, as I mentioned, there is a GUI, which is the graphical user interface for RQDA. So with that GUI, the graphical user interface, which means you don't have to write any code, you can do the qualitative coding. So you can do a character level coding using codes and file editing after coding. You can also add memos of the documents, codes, coding, project, even to the files and more. So for each document, for each code, for each category of the code, which is the second level code, you can always add memos to them. And also you can retrieve the code as well as conditional retrieval, which means that if you write the function in R, you can retrieve the code very easily to specify the code in each file or the code in each category, and then you can retrieve all the codes in a very nice table. And also through the GUI, you can also do some kind of organization. So you can organize codes into code categories. So that's for theory building part in qualitative data analysis. And you can also organize files into files categories. So it's very easy to organize all those things. And the third feature is to do search. So in the RQDA GUI, you can search files by keywords with highlighting of the keyword in the open file. And you can also search information about a selected case on the internet via pop-up menu. I'm going to show that later. And other than using the GUI, you can also use write the R functions, and then to interact with the RQDA software. Writing the R functions will give you more, convenience or efficiency. stuff. You can manipulate the temporary deletions. For example, you can list, undo temporary deletion, or permanently erase them. You can also calculate the relation between two codings, given the coding indices. Because that's a necessary part in qualitative data analysis. Usually we have to assign the coding tasks to different researchers, and then we calculate the reliability of the coding. And with that, we can also do that in RQDA. That's an option. Another option is you can separate the code and then you calculate it based on another package in R. That's also possible. So you can do Google search on that as well. And also with the R functions, you can give a summary of coding and also the inter-code relationships. And use common to see more functions. You can try to put this in your R command, and it will help you to go through all the possible functions you can use in RQDA. And I highly recommend you to do that if you really want to use RQDA to do a thorough study, to do a thorough analysis of the transcripts, especially when you have more than 10 transcripts or even more. And this is a very good way to learn the functions, to better organize your files, organize your codes, organize the categories in your project. So this is the RQDA GUI. It's a pop-up menu like this, and this is the R interface. And so here's the first challenge here. So I think I sent you an email 2 days before the workshop to ask you guys to install R in RStudio before. And could you let me know how many of you have installed it? Cool. So for those of you who still haven't installed it, I highly recommend you to check these two links. They are very thorough. You can install R in RStudio very, very easily. Just follow their instructions. So they're the same thing, just two options, okay? So, and also, as I mentioned before, because RQDA is not being updated anymore for some reasons which I don't know, I tried to contact the author of RQDA package before, and he mentioned that he's not doing this kind of qualitative research project anymore, so he kind of stopped updating it. And also there's no funding for that, so he kind of stopped that. But that was like 2 years ago when I was trying to reach out to him to discuss a function, a specific function in RQDA. So, and yeah, so if you want to install R, please choose this one, the R 3.6.3. This is a historical version of R. And the most recent R, I think it goes to R 4.0.2 something, but just ignore it if you want to use RQDA. So this historical version was released on 2020, February 29th. So yeah, please make sure you install this one. Otherwise you cannot use RQDA.
And just to add something, you can have both versions of R on your computer. So if you already have R 4.0, you don't have to delete it or anything. You can just install R 3.6.3 and then change your version in RStudio before you install the other packages.
Yep, that's a very good comment. So if you want to change that, you can, I think you can actually go to R, tools, the global options, and then you can change your R version there. It's in the first column, the R general, and then you can change your version there. So every time you want to use RQDA, please, you may have to switch to 3.6.3. And yeah, so let's go ahead. And first of all, you finished installing R in RStudio. The second thing is to install RQDA. And how can we install it? I actually share you a Dropbox folder here. So if you click the link here, can you see it? So here I put a Dropbox folder here. I share it to all of you. If you have the link, you can just go to that one.
Can you drop can you drop the link in the chat box?
Sure, it's here. Um,
And did you share the PowerPoint with everyone?
that's a good point. I don't remember, and I put you in the chat box now. So here is the slides. I'm gonna put you here.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. This is the Dropbox link.
And so this, it looks like this is for Windows machines. Do you have instructions for Mac users?
Yes, I added the instruction here for the Mac users.
Thanks. Getting ahead of you. Sorry.
Yeah. So they're slightly different for Mac and Windows user. So first of all, you need to check out this Dropbox. It has all the components of the RQDA, like the dependencies of RQDA here. So this is the R version, the historical version, but that's for Windows. So if you are a Mac user, you probably have to download it yourself. So sorry, because I'm a Windows user and it's here. And this is the RQDA setup R file here. And I put it in the R script, so you can also check it out, but I walk that through here. And here's the R tools for Windows user, and for Mac user, you don't need it. Okay, and here is the package that you want to put in there. So let's take a look at how we can install it. For the Linux user, unfortunately, I don't find a very efficient way for that. So if any of you are a Linux user, you can reach out to me after the workshop, or reach out to Digital Fellow, and I will try to help you with that. But at this point, I don't have a complete instruction on that. So first of all, you open the R Studio after you installed it. And then you open the R Studio and then you check the R version. You can simply open the global option in R and check it, and make it to a 3.6.3. And then the second step is to install the RTools 35. You don't want to install the newest RTools 40. So just install this historical one. And then that's for Windows. And for Mac users, you don't need it. For Windows user, after installing RTools 35, you need to run the command below. You just simply put this command in your RStudio and then hit the button Control plus Enter. Okay, and then it will automatically create a file in your document folder, and that will help you to run the RQDA. And then after that, the third step is to go to the sourceforge.net to download the GTK Plus. So GTK Plus is a software that helps to launch the RQDA GUI, which is the graphical user interface. You can download it here, or you can certainly go to, I guess, GTK Plus, the folder here. You can install it here, actually. So, and the best way is just go to the link. It's a very secure link. You can download it. SourceForge is open source project website. So you can just go to there and download it. And then after you installing the, after you install the GTK Plus, the next step is to install the packages, which is the dependencies for RQDA. So in R, we have a lot of different packages. Some packages are relying on another packages. So that's why we need some dependencies for RQDA. And the following three packages, you can download them from the CRAN directly, and they're RGTK2, Kro, device, and DBI. You can just run this command in your RStudio, and it will help you to install it. And the following three packages were delisted from the CRAN. So you want to go to the share folder to copy paste the 4 folders to a personal R library. So you can use the command lib paths in the RStudio console to see the library location of your R installed on your PC or laptop. So for example, here, this is my library location. What you do is just, you open this, you download the folder, and one folder is one package. You just download it, and then you just drag it or copy paste the folder to this path, which means the package is being manually copy paste to that library location, and then you can just run it in RStudio.
Hey, Yusha.
Yes.
Can you repeat how you change from version 4.0 to 3.6?
Yes.
If you
here, can you see my RStudio interface now?
no.
Okay, let me reshare my screen, make it like this. So I'm gonna reshare my screen. Can you see now?
Yep.
Okay, so here you look at this is the RStudio, and you certainly click Tools and then click Global Options, and see, this is the R version in the R General. You can certainly change it to 4 or 3.6.3 or other historical version you want to. And then you click Apply, and then you click OK. And then what you have to do is you reopen the RStudio, and you can check the version here by just typing version in the R console. And you see here shows you, okay, this is the version 3.6.3, 2020, February 29th. And that's how you check the version of your R. Any questions? Cool. Yep. And that's for Windows user. And for the Mac user, let me also walk you through how to do that. Actually, you can check the link here. And this link is for the Mac user. So, right? Still seems to be for Windows. I don't think so. This is for the OS 10, GTK Plus. So, oh, let me see. This is GTK Plus for OS 10. And if you download it here, no, it's a Mac file, I think, tab bees2. I think I downloaded once before, but I didn't install it. So let's see. Yeah, it's a BZ2 file, so it's not an exe file. Maybe you went to the wrong slide here, but check out this has the Mac mark. So it gives you the link to the Mac version. Changing from 4 to 3.6.3. It's the same thing. So in RStudio, you also in Mac RStudio, you also have the option go to the global options and then go to the R version. You can just click on the button and then change it. So it's the same. Yep. Cool.
Wait, I'm sorry, where do you find the global option? I think that's what I'm not finding in our console.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Interesting.
Do you have these tools? Do you have the tools?
No, I don't have any. I don't have any. Oh, you're in RStudio. Sorry.
Yes,
okay, that's,
yes, I'm in RStudio.
Our console. Thank you.
Cool. Yep. So yeah, you can simply change the in RStudio. Yep. So let's go ahead. So in the Mac version, yeah, please check the R version here by go to RStudio and then type in version, the same thing here, and you will see it. And make sure it's the version that we want. And then you don't have to install any R tools in Mac, and it's only for Windows, so ignore it. And the next step is to go to SourceForge and download the GTK Plus. And as I showed you before here, you will get a file for Mac, not the exe file. And then just simply install it. And then the next step is to install the following 3 packages. You can just put in this command in RStudio. It's the same thing in Windows. Just put in it like this. And then click the button, Control and Enter. You will install it. Or just click the install here from the packages tab. It's also going to help you to install the packages. Any questions?
I'm sorry, do we have access to these slides?
I think, yes, I shared to you in the chat box. Did you see that?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
I'll just send it again. Cool. So, yeah, And then the 3 packages can be installed from CREN directly. And then the following 3 packages, as I mentioned before, they were delisted from the CREN. So you have to go to the share folder to copy paste the 4 folders to a personal R library. So here in Mac, it's the same step. Just put in this in RStudio. Let me show you. And then it will show you where is your library location, right? And then that's the folder where you want to put in these 4 folders. You just download them and then drag them to this location. And then that means the packages are being manually installed in your PC. So for example, for my Mac, the default location is this: desktop, Macintosh, HD, library, frameworks, and blah, 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 library. You can just put them there. And this is showing my Windows PC's library location. Yes, Bridget, what's your question?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I am understanding what you mean by please go to a shared folder to copy paste the 4 folders to your personal R library.
Here, I guess, oh, I didn't put that in the Mac user column, but it's here. It's a SAM folder. So here's the reason. Because RQDA, RQDA has been stopped updating in R. So that means we can now install it as usual before. Like we just use the command, install the packages, and then we can install it. It's not that anymore. So right now we have to install this dependency packages manually by drag them to the library location of R, or copy paste them to the library location of R, because these packages are not existing in the R repository anymore. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'm not sure if I completely understand what I need to do.
So what you have to do is you want to install the RQDA's package. So these are the 4 dependency packages you want to install to make sure that your RQDA could run. And these 4 packages are here, and these are were delisted from CREN. So we have to manually install it by download this folder, and then copy paste them to the library location of R in our PC. Does that make sense?
Okay. I think I'm okay.
Sure.
And then to figure out where that is, use the .lib paths. So on that slide, you can see that, use the command .lib paths in your console to figure out where that path is.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is a little more complicated than installing the package in a normal way. So I will try to make it slow and make sure everybody understand that. Okay. So yeah. So what you have to do is you download this folder here, and then these are literally the packages you're using in R. So you just drag them or copy paste them to the location, your library location, which has been shown here by putting in the command here. So with that, you can run your RQDA, and that's how we run it now. Yeah, any question?
My R is not giving me when I put in the lib pass, I've tried it both with quotes and not, and it's not giving me a library location.
Did you put it like this? The .lib path with the parentheses?
I did, yes.
And you included the dot in the front?
I think so, yeah. Oh, yeah, it looks like it. Okay, well maybe that's.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm not sure, and I mean, I don't know, if I'm the only person who's having this problem, I don't know if I can just talk to someone in the chat about this, but I don't know how to, I don't know, like I'm downloading the folders that are listed in the Dropbox, but
yes.
I'm not sure if I understand how to use the .lib path thing and how to make sure that it's saved in the library location. And I'm just not sure if I completely understand how that works.
Okay. Yeah, I can briefly walk you through that again and see whether it makes sense to you. Basically, there is a path in our PC that is storing the packages of R. So in order to find out the path of that location, we can put in this .lib paths parenthesis, and then it will give us the location of our library. And then you put in folder. For example, I just put in here. Wait, this is our document. Oh, put it this way. Okay, 3.6. Our documents are Vin library 3.6. So as you can see, I'm using this, right? And this is the library location of all the R packages being installed in my PC. So I just copy paste this and put that in the folder explorer, and then it just directly get me here, which is the folder that store all the packages of R. And you double click it and you can see all these packages here. For example, this package is gwidgets, or the other thing like RQDA, RSQLite, and all the packages you can find it here. And what you have to do is you just go to this and then download it. Okay. Let me see whether I can download. I haven't logged into it, but yes, you can just download it and drag those folders into your location like this location, like all this folder here. So this folder is just like this folder. Let me show you here, gwidgets, as you can see, right? So you can just drag it from the Dropbox and to here. This means that you install the package in your R on your PC now. Does that make sense? So yeah. On Mac, it's the same step. For example, on Mac, you can also type in the .lib paths, and then it will show you a path like this. And in the slides I showed you, if it's on Mac, the path looks like this, like desktop, Macintosh HD library, blah, 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 and the library. And this is the folder you want to copy paste this folder to, like this. So Mac also has such a folder, right? You can just copy paste this folder from your downloaded folder to that library location, like this. So that's gonna help you to install your R package manually. So, yep. Well, let's try to go ahead. So I'd like to briefly introduce RQDA, and then we can switch, go to the R script about the textual analysis. Because I'm still curious how many of you are going to use RQDA in the future. I don't know, but I think it's useful. And also you can let me know if you're doing qualitative kind of research, because this is a very, very useful tool, I think. So here, I made a tutorial on how to use the RQDA. This is a slide, I share it in the Dropbox. So you can definitely go to there and check it out. So I'm gonna briefly introduce some of the features, but it has much more features than I just mentioned. So you can explore it after that. And this is the official site for the RQDA here. And it's still open. So if you click on that, it's still open. It's just been stopped updated. So it has a very complete site of what is RQDA and some very useful resources on that. You can definitely check it out. It has a long history, actually, more than 10 years. And here are 2 articles about the review of RQDA of some scientists or researchers or some data analytics people. You can also check out it. So regarding the RQDA, I want to show how it looks like. So basically just install it like this, and then usually we do a working directory setup, and then here are all the packages we were going to use today. And then you just type in RQDA parenthesis, and then it bumps up. So it bumps up like this. So this is RQDA. So on the right column, it has project, files, code categories, cases, attributes, file categories, journals, and settings. So you can put in your name here. And also you can work on several projects at the same time with RQDA. All you have to do is you open it and click the project you're working on right now, double click it, means you opened it. So all the projects being used or being analyzed in RQDA will be stored as a RQDA file like this, has a RQDA suffix. And that's how we use it. So here, I think most of the people who uses RQDA, they want to do some quantitative analysis, I think, most of them. And some of them are just using the qualitative coding of it. So I know there's such a term that is called qualitative data science. It sounds like a contradiction in terms, but because most of the data scientists, they're solving problems with numerical methods or solutions. And the analysis of a text is kind of being reduced to numerical problems using Markov chains, topic analysis, sentiment analysis, and other mathematical tools. So today, what we're going to discuss is, I want to show you the demo of using both quantitative and qualitative analysis, kind of make a comparison, like what we can get from different methods of data analysis. So today I chose a data set of water utility marketing research, and it has a interview of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. So this is online data I get from the internet. Previously, the project I did is about the user satisfaction toward system implementation project. So for that one, I cannot use my own project data because it's still being under the IRB protection. So I cannot use that now. So I grabbed this data from the internet, but it's still a very good example of that. So this data is talking about the customer perception in water utility data. And I'm going to show you how to analyze it. So first of all,
can we make sure that people are caught up? Because I know people are having trouble installing our QDA. Does everybody have these packages loaded, or is everyone up here and can follow along?
I was unable to install it, unfortunately, but I'm fine with just following along by watching for now and then installing it at a later point in time.
Cool.
Same. I'd rather have this video go further along, and I can take care of the first part later and rewatch this. If that's okay.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll be available for troubleshooting after the workshop too.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm not sure if I was with you when you were launching RQDA. Is it possible that we could like take a few steps back and just go over those few steps one more time?
Sure. Yeah, I think, yeah, this is more complicated than the usual process of installing it. So I totally understand that. I also feel the same way when I started exploring this instruction. And so I guess Connor mentioned, yeah, we have later on, we have some our user group, so we can solve the problem there. And I'll send you the link at the end of the presentation to get you in RAC. And also the GCDI also has blog posts every semester. So later on, I will also, post a whole article on how to install RQDA and how to use the basic features of it. So please, you can also check out that later, the GCDA resources. So after we install the RQDA and all those dependency packages, you can just use this command, library RQDA, which means that you load RQDA into your R environment. So you just click the button, Control and Enter, and to load this. And you see this command is being loaded. And then the next step is to launch RQDA. So RQDA is being loaded in your R environment. So you type in RQDA parentheses, and then Control Enter, and then it will be launched here because it's already been launched. So it's here. So after you launch it, it will stay here in this row, and then just click it. It will show you. And after you launch, let me just clean all the things, and then here you can use RQDA to start this program again. So during your use of the RQDA, you can certainly close the GUI, the graphical user interface, and then you can launch it again, and then it will pop up. So it's like that. This is the GUI you will be using. So every time you open the RQDA, you want to select which project you want to work on because it doesn't show you the default project. So we already have a project here, so we opened it. And then after you open the project, you'll see all the files here, right? So here you may be working on different projects at the same time, and you will see all of the project here in the folder you will be working on. So, see some questions. Does library return an error? I don't think so. It says it's been launched.
Sorry, I was attempting to troubleshoot.
Oh, the encoding.
Yeah.
I don't think this is not a problem. It basically means the UTF-8. Sometimes it has this problem with that because RQDA is using UTF-8. So if in R, I think it's in the global option, in the like the spelling of the languages, but it's not a problem. I think here I've been seen that before, so no worries. And yeah, so here we already have the transcript. So each one is a transcript. It's already being coded. So if you double click the stakeholder 8 here, you can see this is the transcript, and this is the interviewer, interviewee, and interviewer, interviewee. It's in a text file. So this is being coded with all these codes. For example, regulation, performance, advocacy, pressure, water quality, stuff like that. You can code it with different colors there. And also, you can right-click each file and see all those options, like view attributes, export the file attributes, export the coded file, and import. You can also see the file memo. So this is the file memo, like January 2013. Respondent is director of the water regulator. He's a former engineer, and all this memo could be incorporated in it. Okay.
Were the codes that you showed in the transcript generated by like a researcher, or was that automatically done?
Like this?
No, not in the memo. In the actual transcript, you showed that
Oh.
there were some highlighted
Yes.
codes. I'm wondering
Yes.
whether or not these codes were generated by a researcher and then eventually they became what we now see as highlighted, or if these were codes that were pulled through, like, I don't know, R's coding system or something.
This colors, this marks, and this codes are being generated by researchers.
Oh,
Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the Atlas TI, which is the traditional qualitative
Right.
analysis software.
Right.
You have to code it yourself, and then you put on the mark. You can use different colors to show which mark, which code it is, like pressure, pricing, pressure, water quality, stuff like that. And this is how they coded before. So it's already been coded.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. And another very nice tips on this is that in my previous project, when I coded all these different sentences or words in the transcript, I can actually pull out the data by specifying which code I want to look at. So for example, you can pull out the data by specifying which code is related to those sentences or words you just marked. And then you put in the code name, it will just pull out all the data of across different files of those words being coded as the same code, like the pricing or pressure. And then you can pull out all the words being coded like that, and then do analysis on that across different files, across different interviewees. So it's very useful. Okay. So would you mind if you send the error message on the chat box so I can probably take a look at that and see whether I can troubleshoot that? Yeah. So, and the second tab is the code. So here you can see the code list of all these codes in the files, in the different transcripts. So you can see monopoly, legal, and if you just double click the, for example, the legal code, and then it will pop up a new window showing you the words that are being coded as legal across different files, across different transcripts. For example, this one, the customer service codes, we have tried to keep them high level and board. Some believe that they should be blah, 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 like this. So like this. And if you right click each code, you also have some options. For example, you can show codes with codings, without codings, category, show codes with memo, and stuff like that. So, and then the third tab is the category, code categories. It's kind of like the concept in the qualitative analysis, like the second level code. So you can certainly attribute the different codes to one category. For example, company management here. And if you double click the company management, you will see, actually single click, sorry. Company management, you can see the different codes in this company management category. So you can see the cultural, empathy, empowerment, internal coordination, political focus, all these things, codes under this category. And then for the customer relationships, you can also see the advocacy, billing, complaints, customer experience under this category. And industry, management, they don't have it. Water consumption, water quality, water quantity, they don't have it for that. The reason is that because this is only part of the research project files. The author didn't put in all the files online for kind of IRB protection reason, I think. So this is part of it. But you can certainly see how these are being organized in the code categories with all these things. And then we have the cases, which is the weak water. So sometimes if you do some case studies, you might have different locations of the cases. For example, if you're investigating an industry, you have company A, company B, company C, or and in each company you have different interviewees. We can organize it in the cases tab. So very easily. Yep. And attributes, file categories. This means that you can attribute the files and categorize them in different categories. So like this, customer, stakeholders, they are B, C, and D, and the regulator, which is the stakeholder A, and the water professionals, which is stakeholder F. This is very easy to organize different people with different roles in a company, in an organization, like this. And then the journals. So this is the basic, this is basically all the features in the graphical user interface in RQDA. So to me, my experience tells me that it basically satisfies all my needs of doing a qualitative coding analysis in a qualitative research project. So it's very complete and also very useful and easy to use also as well. I think it could do all the things that Atlas TI could do. And that's why I totally used RQDA in my previous project. And yeah, it really satisfies all my needs. So, and it's free. Yeah,
In
go
your
ahead.
opinion, do you find that there are advantages that are offered towards using RQDA in comparison to Atlas DI or other programs like Deduce, for example?
So I only used Atlas TI before because I was working in Brewer College that time, and then they have this license for Atlas TI,
Sure.
but they only have 2 laptops. So my co-author and I, and we have 3 guys, so we have to switch it all around each other. And then we found this software, and then we said we can all work on this project with this RQDA. So we just tried it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's free. That's I think that's the big reason, because for that project, because I was working with a professor, so the professor has access to the licensed software. But if you're a pure student and you want to do your own project, probably such a license is not that
Right.
affordable. I think Atlas DI is pretty expensive to me at that time. Yeah.
Thanks.
So.
And with RQDA, so one of the advantages of using R or coding in general is that you can save your script and redo things later. When you're working with the GUI, can you save like a script that does what you did in the GUI, or would you have to code it yourself?
So in the GUI, everything you did here, everything you marked here, it's being saved in the RQDA project automatically.
Okay.
So, and yeah, it's been saved here. And then if you don't want to work on the GUI anymore, you can just close it and use the code. But if you're tired of the code, you can just open the GUI and then work on it. So they can, you know, they're connected. So once you save it here in the GUI, and then it's in the RQDA project. And then once you save it in our environment, it's been saved in the RQDA project. Everything is saved in this file, which is this RQDA file. So they're all connected.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Any question on this so far? Good. Yeah, so that's the GUI part of it. And then we can sort of take a look at the the coding part. So again, so here this PDF, the RQDA package in R, it's more like a tutorial, not that complete, but it's kind of complete tutorial on this RQDA package. So you can definitely check out that and walk through it, go through it, and you see some pictures and things being put in there. So I think it's gonna be very helpful if you want to get on this package after you install it. So maybe I don't have enough time to walk through it here, but I put the link in the slides. You can definitely check out that. So, yep. Cool. And the next thing is the textual analysis I want to introduce. So, yeah. So we're not going to cover everything in the text analysis. I'm just give you a brief introduction of what we can do. So you can kind of get a flavor of like if you have this text data, what you can do with it, and what insights, what exploration you can do with this text data. So, and here, today we're going to introduce the pre-processing with text mining package and tidyverse a little bit. Actually, Connor mentioned and introduced the tidyverse in his last workshop. So he's also an expert in it. And the word cloud package, which is used to visualize the text data with basically some frequencies calculation of the words. It's pretty simple. And then it's the topic modeling. It's in the topic models package. So topic modeling, the most famous one is the LDA model. So we will briefly introduce the implementation of it, and for the knowledge part and the concept part, you can explore it later yourself. And then the network analysis, we're going to use the iGraph package. The network analysis is primarily being used for analyzing the relationships of different topics in different transcripts in different code categories. And then you can sort of have a nice look. Also, it will give you a very nice visualization of the codes being connected with each other, and then you can kind of get an overview of what are those codes and how they're related to each other. And also there are much more topics in the text analysis. For example, sentiment analysis, part of speech tagging, word embeddings, word to vec, etc. And if you are interested, you can definitely check it out yourself. Or later, if we have probably the next workshop, I don't know when it is, we can introduce more on that. And moreover, here I'm gonna introduce you some manual book for text analysis. So this one is the text analysis in R. So it's specifically introducing the text analysis. So it's very useful and it's free. And this one is the tidy text mining in R. It's also like a very famous book in text mining in R. So you can also check it out. And last one is a paper that I think might be very useful for you if you want to do some really academic type of topic modeling. MISQ, which is the top 2 journal in my field. And once this method or approach is being published in such a journal, I think it's been validated by or been, recommended by the academia. So you can definitely check this paper out. It has a very nice analysis of the Twitter data of the topic modeling, using the topic modeling. And it's published in 2019, so it's a pretty new paper. So let's take a look. Let me put it there. So as you can see, we have a bunch of library packages to install here. So to install this package, I already installed it, so I don't have to install them again. You want to install it, you can just click the package tab here, and then you can type in, for example, tidyverse. it will help you to install the package. You can just click this install. Or another way is just to use the command install packages, and then just type in the name of the package will help you to install it. So it's pretty straightforward. And after you install the packages, you can just run the command library this, which means you want to load this package in your R environment. So then you can just load them in your R environment. Okay. And then usually I will set up a working directory in my R first before I run the data. That means you want to set up a default working folder for your R environment. So sometimes you have some output files, have some exported files. It will be exported to this location automatically. So it's a very convenient way of using R. So you can click on Open Project, and then here you want to grab some data from the stakeholders RQDA files from those transcripts because it's already been coded. And you can run this command. It's creating a data frame. So data frame is the basic table format in R. So we can specify the table will have a name. The table will also have a text column. So it looks like this. Okay. So you have the name, you have the file. The name is stakeholder A, B, C, D, E to F, and then that's the file. And then our RQDA query is using SQL language. So if you type in the question mark, RQDA query, you can see the explanation of that. You can execute an arbitrary SQL statement on the open RQDA file to grab the information or data you want. So for example, if you run it here, it will grab the name from the source. And the names are stakeholder A, stakeholder B to stakeholder F, stuff like that. And also you can grab the file from the source. And the file are simply the transcripts here, the transcripts you imported in the RQDA, which are those text file, right? So, and then the next step is to transform this data frame to a corpus. So corpus is a format being used for text mining in R. So it's just a format they use. They just create it and use as a unique format. And then you have to convert it using the function vector source, and then convert it to a vector type corpus, and with the v corpus to convert it to a corpus format file in R. And with that, you can work on this interviews object, and it has the corpus format file of this interviews there. And then we can sort of do some data pre-processing of all these transcripts, because usually for the text data pre-processing, we have to do some very standardized processes. For example, you want to remove the punctuation. You want to change all those upper cases to lower cases. And then in English, we have some stop words. And then you can also strip the white space, stamp the document, and also you can add some more remove words yourself. So here's how I do it. TMMap is another function in text mining package. And then you select the object, choose the function, remove numbers. It helps you to remove all the numbers in the transcript file. And why I want to do that? Because here we're totally using a quantitative type of analysis. And the machine, and then when we want to analyze the text, we don't want a number in it. So that's why I want to remove the numbers. And that's kind of the limits of this quantitative text mining stuff, is because sometimes we actually removed a lot of information in the original files. For example, the punctuations, the numbers, all these things. they have their value. So this kind of created some bias, and this is also the limit of it. Then that's why sometimes we prefer qualitative coding and analysis. So first of all, we run the comment to remove the numbers. And then secondly, we remove the punctuation by simply use the function. So this is a function in the package. So you can just type in the question mark, remove punctuation. You will see that. Have to remove the punctuation marks from a text document. And then we want to transform all the uppercases to lower cases. And then we do that. And then the next step is we want to remove the words, some words. And what are those words? These words are the stop words in English. So here I give you a link of what is the stop, what are those stop words in it. So you can check out the link in the R script. And stop words are basically the words, they don't contain important significance or be used in search queries. So some CS professors, they created some lists of English top words. And there are two famous English stop words being recognized in the academia. So this is an example that shows a list of some stop words in English. So you can check it out there. Like that. So here we remove the stop words and then strip the white space. We don't want the white space, and then scan the document. And then later on, we find that there are many words that is about interview. There are like this interviewee words. They have no meaning in our analysis of the transcripts because they're just specifying who's speaking. So we can just remove all the interviewers and interviewees. So after we have done all this, okay, glad I'm back. Yes, hear me now? Okay, and so we removed the interviewers, interviewee, and then we can take a look at the, oh, I think I didn't run it. And here is the files being pre-processed, the word being, the text files being processed. And then we can kind of run the word cloud and take a look at that. So here we set a seed, okay? Set a seed for that. And here is the word cloud, as you can see. So from the word cloud, you can see that basically all the transcripts, they're talking about water, of course, and business, think, service, and issue. And then we find a problem. We see the business being cut. I guess that's because the stand document here. So let's remove and run it again. So I want to rerun this with interviews, RQDA, and then run all of this again. And then let's see. We run the word cloud, and this time it works well. So has the businesses actually, really, water, customer, think. So this word cloud is totally being calculated based on the frequencies of the words in the transcripts. So you can understand like a distribution of the words. And yeah. And regarding the word cloud function here, you can see this one. So the first thing you want to put is interviews, and then min.freq is the minimum frequency that you want to choose to the word cloud visualization, and the minimum frequency is 10. You can set it up to 20 or even 15 or 30 something. And the max words is the maximum words being visualized in the word cloud. And this rot.pr is the rotation percentage. So you see some of the words they're horizontal, some of the words they are vertical. So with this, you set up the 35% of the words will be horizontal, or 35, and then the other part of the words would be, I'm sorry, here 35 of the words should be vertical, and then the other words would be horizontal, to make sure the word cloud looks nice. And then the last one is to specify the colors. Here I'm using the brew.pal, which is a color setup function in R. So here you can set up, you can take a look at what colors you can choose from it. Here I choose blue, but you can have other parameters to put in for visualization. For example, here you can choose blues, you can choose greens, grays, oranges, and these things. And here I only want 3 colors, so I use the latest 3 colors. I don't want to use the previous 5 because they're too light. I can kind of show you how it looks like if I use the previous 3. So it will look like this. So it will look like this. So they're very, very light. That's why I want to avoid it and use -1 to -5, and then, yep. So it looks like this. You can also change the colors to other colors you want. So, yep. And then use devoff to clean the plot, so you can run the next analysis or next picture. The devoff is very useful, especially when you want to export some PDF picture or a JPG picture, because sometimes you want to automate your document exporting processes. So you can use a PDF command and this devoff to automate the process, so the R can run it very smoothly. You don't have to manually create each one. So that's for the word cloud. And the next thing you want to do is to, yes, I see somebody raise their hand, and go ahead. Yeah.
So I have a few questions.
Sure.
The first is, you said something about setting a seed. Can you explain what that means? I think it's in line 40.
Yep. So setting a seed is a very, it's not very, it's a very, how to say, common method in doing kind of machine learning analysis or anything that is related to randomization. So setting a seed basically is, because when you run, let's say, a simulation or a kind of algorithm stuff, you start with a random number generator. So in order to copy, so each time you rerun the algorithm, your result could be different. So setting a seed means that each time you want to run the algorithm, it will start from this seed. So make sure that each time you rerun the algorithm or the model or the simulation, you can get the same result.
So would 2020 refer to the number of words that you're using to produce the results?
So yeah, so here I use 2020 because today is 2020, or I can use other, like, I'm sorry. I got a question here. Connor, do you know how to change the, how to say this thing to the, the vertical line that we'll usually use. I accidentally run into this.
I don't know. I don't know what happens. Maybe I accidentally pressed a hotkey. I
Sure.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm using another laptop for this presentation. Yeah, no problem. So anyway, go back to the setting seed. So here I can set this 2020 to anything like 1990 or 99 or 98. Basically, the purpose is to help you to make sure that next time if you want to check your algorithm, check your model, you run the whole thing with the same code, it's gonna and the same data, it's gonna give you the same result. And if you run it this time, you run it with 2020. Let's say if you don't set up any seed here, the result is each time you run the model, it will give you different results. Because if it's totally random, this time it could pick 2020. Next time the machine could pick, for example, 1993 or 1996 or 2030, something like that. Just yeah.
Then the next set of questions that I have refer to the pre-processing stage. So I'm specifically wondering why we're removing white spaces. So when we're removing white spaces, does that constitute like the spaces between words or between paragraphs?
Yes, you're right. Sometimes there are some here strip white space because sometimes you have some unusual white space there. So it's helping you to fix that. And most of the time when we do the pre-processing of the text data, usually we look at the data first before we do the pre-processing. So we look at the data, for example, here, is this going to be a problem, or is there any lowercase problem or uppercase problem, or even the punctuation problem, anything like that. So you will see a lot of the code they're trying to fix. So to put it this way, you will find that if you want to do text analysis, let's say in the future, you will have many opportunities to write your own code to fix some very specific problems that is only in your case. So here, I remove the words interviewer and interviewee. This is only in my case. For the other pre-processing case, they don't have it. Probably in another case, you don't have to strip the white space. If you, first of all, you look at the text data and it looks fine, you don't have to do that. And also the remove words, for some of the other cases, you may have more words to remove. And sometimes you will get some very tricky problem, like those punctuation you've never seen before, and it's not included in the punctuation list here. You have to remove them manually. It's possible. So, yeah.
And then my last question is, can you explain what the code in line 32 is executing, please?
This one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So here I want to change all the uppercases to lower cases.
Oh, to lower. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
to lower.
that
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. So yeah. Yeah, so basically this is a pretty standardized process of doing data pre-processing. So and in a lot of the cases, you may have to write your own code to deal with very specific problems. So yeah, cool. Any questions so far? Okay. And the next thing we want to take a look is the topic modeling. So here I'm just going to give you a demo of implementation of that. Using the topic models in R, we are going to use this two library. One is the text mining library, and the other is the topic models library. And the most famous one is the LDA. So here we will use it. So usually when you do topic models, it requires you to transform your text data to kind of a document term matrix. You can check out the term and check out the concept in the text mining book, which I recommended here. It's in this tidy text mining in R. And then you create a document term matrix. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to kind of remove the sparse terms usually. That's kind of a standardized process for them to do. And then you can run the LDA model and set a topic to 4, which means that you assume that there are 4 topics in this text data, in this whole bunch of corpus. And then you run it. And then these are the terms it generates for the 4 topics existing in all these transcripts. So
What
you can
does
take
LDA stand for?
Latent Dirichlet Distribution Allocation.
What exactly is going on there for people who might not know what an LDA analysis is?
Sure. So here in this tidy text mining with R, it has a whole bunch of chapter that is talking about this. And if you have interest to really put that in your research, you can definitely go through this part. It's very useful. So LDA is the latent Dirichlet allocation. It's a technique, I think it was developed pretty early in 2005, 2006, that time, by a CS professor who's interested in linguistics and natural language processing. And then it's being used a lot after 2010 to do the topic modeling stuff. And the most famous case is to analyze, I remember it's the novels, 18 novels. Yeah. So here, I just implemented a very, very basic LDA model, and to find a more more complete case of how to apply it to the root data, you can check out this paper. So it's using the Twitter data to do the topic modeling analysis and then shape the online persona and see what's the online persona of those people who are sending the tweets. So basically LDA is such a model that you have to specify some parameters. The parameters include how many topics you want to generate from the text data. So here I assume that there are 4 topics in the LDA, in the textual data. So I just put in the k equals 4. Sometimes you can put in 6, 7, 8, 10. I remember in my previous projects, I also used this model. And then I go through, first thing is you can go through topic 1 to topic 20 and see what are the differences between these different topics being picked by LDA model. And then you can kind of analyze or conclude what would be the best number of topic you want to pick. And there's second option is to use more a technical method. It's been introduced here in this paper to use another package that there are 4 scholars writing papers about this LDA, like what are the optimal number of topics to choose. So there are 4 algorithms you can run. And with that, you can have 4 scores with the 4 algorithms. And then you can make a combined scores and see which is the optimal number of topics to pick from the LDA model. And that's what I used in my previous research project. So I remember in that one, I used 12 projects because it's the optimal number to use. I'm not gonna delve into the technical part of it, and the paper has it there. So if you are interested in this part, you can reach out to us in the R user group. We're holding it every other week. This Friday we'll have it. If you're interested, we can talk about it there, and I can share more resources to you. So this is So this is the basic implementation of the LDA, and then here you see the result. It basically generates the 4 topics based on model and see, and then we look at the words in each topic to identify the meaning of that topic, like what that topic is discussing. So topic 1 has the word water, customers, and this is another customer, think, business, service, really, lot, guess, issues. And this is another thing that haven't been dealt with. And water, topic 2 is water, think, businesses, customers, yeah, consumers, service companies. Energy, this is a new word there, here. Water, think, people, service, customer, actually inaudible, businesses. And what topic 4, water, think, companies, experience, blah, 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 like that. And here with this parameter, you can change it to show, let's say 15 topics in each, 15 words in each topic. So you show more words. So here's what I do. Sometimes I look at the topics and I try to figure out what the topic is discussing, what it's talking about. And if you can figure out, or the difference is not that significant, one thing you can do is you can look at more words in each topic and try to, figure out the meaning of the topic. So with that, you can change this number to 15, 20, 30 words, or even 50 words to try to figure out the topics. And I think, personally, I think this is kind of the hardest part, because the LDA model, it's just an algorithm. It really doesn't tell you the meaning behind the text. It doesn't reach that level as a human being can do. So I think still we have to read the words in the topics and see what is that about. But this is only in this case, because in this case, I want to make a comparison to you, like compare this kind of quantitative modeling stuff with the qualitative coding analysis of the text data. And I would say LDA would be more useful in a more, in a case where there is more data, like the tweets. Because in that paper, it pretty much makes sense there because they collected millions of tweets. So the data volume is very big. So they can kind of see the difference between the different topics, and they extract the persona from the people who are sending those tweets. And that's also the feedback I got from my last research project, that we sent it to a conference. And then one of the reviewers saying that because we're using transcripts, to be honest, we're using transcripts of the interviewees. So we have only 15 transcripts, 15 interviews in total. And the reviewer said that is not enough. And then that's a pretty negative feedback on that. Just said the method is not good for this. So you have to fight for that sometimes. So again, I think LDA could make more sense in a case where you have a large amount of data, and then probably can generate 20 topics, 50 topics, sometimes could be 10 topics. I mean, to me, 50 topics doesn't make that much sense because it's hard to read for you as well. So I would say usually you want to generate a topic number between 5 to 15. I think that would be, that would make sense to me, 5 to 15. So yeah, so that's the LDA. And there are more fancy visualization of the LDA data like these topics, but I'm not gonna get on it here. And let's just go ahead and see. So yeah, so quantitative data analysis sometimes could be very limited, especially when you have the data volume that is not that large enough. And at this point, especially when we have the transcripts data, sometimes we may prefer the qualitative coding analysis on that. So here, let's get back to our RQDA qualitative analysis. And then with all these transcripts here, let's see how we can write some basic functions of extracting the codes and stuff from that. So here I'm using a function that is called get coding table, which is helping you to get the coding table. So I can do another one here to have you look at the whole thing. Codes, get coding table. So just typing this, it's gonna give you the whole thing of the RQDA project you have there. So you have the row ID, the column ID, the file ID, and the code name. These are the codes you specifically put in your RQDA files, put in those transcripts. And these are the file name. You have stakeholder, different stakeholder from A to F. And then these are the index. Index basically means which character index it starts from. So this one, the code name is advocacy. In the file name, stakeholder C, the index starts from 156 to 235. So the code length for that is 79. That's like the length of the characters of the words being coded as advocacy. So that gives you another way of calculation. This is what I did before. You can basically calculate the percentage of the length of the words in that coding files. So you see the percentage of the code in each file or in each transcript. So you can do analysis certainly on that. So, and then for this coding table, if you don't want to see that much, you can just specify which column you want to see. So you put in 4 to 5 and codings. Here, you only have the file name and the code name. See? So here's how you extract all the codings and file names from your RQDA project. And then you can take a look at the RQDA query and then to get your categories. Here's how it looks like. The code category includes customer stakeholders, water professionals, and regulators. These are different roles of the interviewees. And then you can sort of do a merge on them and then see this. So this is how you organize all these codings, categories, files, and stuff on that. So you have this C, file name, code name, and category, who's a regulator, code name, regulations, responsive, stuff like that. And within this codings, if you click on this, you will see more. So this is how you organize all this data in your RQDA file. Each code is being assigned to a category. And here is a command to help you to take a look at the RQDA tables structure. So basically, the RQDA is using a SQLite database. So here, this command will give you some insights about how to manipulate all the different attributes in the SQLite database. Remember this SQL query? So they're being identified here. So they have the case ID, file ID, status, owner, name, memo, and all these things you can manipulate with the SQL query. So, yep. And the next thing is, let me show you another network analysis you can probably do in RQDA is use Edge. This RQDA query help you to get some data of the name of the different codes and also the categories of them. And then you are going to use the iGraph package. And then set seed, make a plot of that. Oh, where's my, okay. So this is the network you can make from the RQDA. So if you take a look at that, you see this is the code. These are different codes actually. So, and the different color shows different areas are the different categories that your code will lie in. So for example, these are the codes here, like trust, involvement, customers, segmentation, and this is technology, technical orientation, legal. And this is how they are related to each other, kind of give you a visualization of what this look like. And another way of visualize them is to use the GUI, which is the graphical interface. If you, oh, I have to open it again. Let's say here, I have this coding. You can actually right click on, categories here and plot the code categories. You can also visualize it via the graphical user interface. So you can see the service, recovery, political focus, how they're like this. Yep. You can even click on it, many manipulation on it. And layout, you can change the layout as well. So these are different layout. I haven't used this, honestly, because when I used the RQDA, what I really focused on is, with my co-author, is doing the coding part, because we can work on each other. Here's how we set up the workflow. So because the R file could be worked on the cloud drive. So for example, CUNY has the Dropbox. So you can set up a project folder there and then store this RQDA files in that Dropbox folder. And then you and your co-authors, collaborators or RAs, you can all work on the same project at the same time. So you don't have to really switch the computer to him, switch computer to me like this. You can just work on it in the cloud folder drive, and then every change will be, stored in the cloud drive very easily. So yeah, that's how we did it there. Yeah, that's another visualization part of it. Here, previously we can also do the code categories visualization with D3. So D3 is actually a JavaScript visualization tool, but I don't know why, because some of the version problem. Oh, sorry. I guess, yeah, I missed this package. Sorry. So I have to install this package. So I have it. D3 network, and then I want to run it. D3 network. Yeah. So let's see what I can run it now with the D3. Cool. So you can run it now. So this is a more, I would say, advanced type of visualization of that with the D3 of the different codes in there. You can actually drag it. So D3 is another visualization tool being used a lot for professionals. So it's been written in JavaScript. So with the D3, you have to write some code. I'm not a programmer of D3, so, but this looks better than that one. You can play around with it. Oh, I forgot to say another thing is all these codes and code categories, you can also export them to HTML. So it looks pretty nice in that way, I would say. So let me create a folder in the desktop. Name the folder. I don't know, cool. Okay. Cool. You can select how many you want. You can select many of them. You can select all of them by just press the button shift and then click on it. And then it will create it there. And then this is the exported codes of those things you put in through RQDA. So for example, here shows 15 code things of accounting from 6 files. And here, this one shows 10 codings of advocacy from 4 files. And this is 5 codings of assurance from 3 files. And there's 23 codings like this. So it looks pretty nice, I think. And I think this part is even better than the Atlas TI that I used before. I don't see it. It has the same function feature, but this is also very, I think, useful. Yeah. Yeah. So you can also highlight the coding and do all these changed colors of the mark. Like here you have the colors here. You can also change the colors here. So anyway, to summarize the whole RQDA thing and textual analysis, I think overall RQDA could still be very useful if I want to start another qualitative method research project. I will still use RQDA definitely. And I think the workflow overall is very nice, and it's very well incorporated into R, because I am an R user. So I really like the RQDA thing. And also it's free and enables you to collaborate with your co-authors seamlessly on the cloud drive. So yeah, and because later on, when you have the codes, you still have to do some calculation, like intercoder rating, stuff like that. And with R, you can very easily do that. And another thought I had is, because I think in my field nowadays, I'm kind of doing a social science research, but I also like the quantitative part of it. I think that could make my research more robust in terms of the methodology. So right now I would prefer to do a more kind of like a mixed method approach in my research project. I use both qualitative analysis and quantitative method to validate my hypothesis, to make my conclusion stronger. So I think it would be better to use both. So sometimes I do surveys as well as the interviews. So I combine the results from both methods, and I think that makes my project stronger. That's how I feel. And also I think the world is changing. So previously we can only get data from the lab, from field experiment, like survey experiment. But nowadays we have much more data sources that we can imagine. So in my field, a lot of people are just do this data crawling on the websites. They get a lot of Twitter data, Instagram data, and also like the other Facebook data, and any kind of website data. And those data volume is very large. It's tons of data there. And with those tons of data, they can use this kind of data topic modeling more efficiently and make their conclusion much stronger. So sometimes I'm thinking about it, like if I can use both the lab experiments and the survey, as well as some validation from the online data, then my conclusion could be stronger in that way. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. So any questions from you guys? So I see that, so let's continue our presentation. I haven't finished yet. So that's basically the script demo part of it. I'm gonna put all the script and things in the share folder in the job box, so you can check it out there. And you can also download the script to play around with it. And moreover, if you wanna connect with the R community, here are some places that you can go. The CUNY.is/ROC is the R user group from GCDI. So we have 2 to 3 digital fellows who are in these working groups. So every other week we will meet. We will discuss what questions you might have regarding the R, and what other things you want to discuss.
And this week we're actually having a meeting this Friday, and we're covering making maps. So making static maps this week, and then our next meeting is going to be on making interactive maps if you're into, GIS or geographic things. So it should be fun. We also like just talk about general R things that people are having trouble with. It's just a theme, and then you can come in with whatever you need to talk about too.
Yep. And another working group is the data visualization group. So if you have any interest or if you have any problems in your working projects or in your classrooms or when you're teaching or when you're learning, you can definitely join us, because this is more like an informal place, which means we can discuss with each other. So even me, I only had some experience in data visualization. I'm also learning it, and but still, I think communication could create a lot of sense there. And this Friday, we're also having the first meeting for this group. So it's going to be the first meeting, and there I'm going to introduce a bunch of resources in data visualization. I'm going to throw a lot of things to you, but you can check out those resources, like the options of different methods and tools for visualization, including both the coding required tools or non-coding required tools. And I also put some resources of the books, of the TED videos, and also online articles. You can check them out. So if you want to do some really, really nice and some data visualization things you've never done before, I think it could be a place that you could join and take a look. And these are the hashtags related to R on Twitter. You can definitely check them out. And also there's a Tidy Tuesday, a weekly data project in R. And you can check out the GitHub page. And there's a rladies.org, and there's a rfordatascience.com. And these are very, very nice place for you to connect with the R community. So R is ranked 9th of all the programming languages this year in 2020. It's the most recent data. So it's getting up, it's rising. So yeah, it's very good. And to learn more, you can check out the R Studio primers. It's being created by a lot of R developers and professionals. So it teaches you some basic and you can work with data by just following the instructions. They have many cases, and also some data visualization, like how to use ggplot2. ggplot2 is like the primary package that we're going to use in R if we want to do visualization tasks. And also tidy your data, how to use tidyverse to do, the manipulation of the text or even other data types in R. So yeah. And I think the R community is really rising in the recent years. So for example, when I first learned R in 2015, I was learning the basic plotting function, even not the ggplot tool. So at that time, you do the plotting in R, you use the plot function, the very basic one. And that gives you a very basic plot as well. It's not that fancy as a ggplot2 visualization. But right now, the ggplot2 and all this tidyverse, this also dplyr, another very useful package. This has become kind of the standard for you to use R. So I see the R community is really rising, and everything is changing in this community, and also with the R programming languages. So R for data science, it's like the Bible in R, and it's very, very useful for you to get an overall understanding of R, like different functions, different features. And also GC Digital Initiatives is at GC, and is where we're working for. And the RStudio community, the RStudio community. So you can check it out if you want to join the group, join the community, and see whether you can actually learn a lot of things from there, I believe. And rspatial.org, that is specifically for spatial maps, I think. Connor is an expert in it. He held a workshop in the R spatial map the week before last week, and it was pretty nice. And yeah, and Stack Overflow another place that you can get a lot of knowledge about R. And every time you have questions in R, just Google it or just go to Stack Overflow. I believe any question you have in R, somebody already met that before. So just go there and check it out. You can find the answer. You really can find the answer. That's how I felt when I learned R. So it's, yeah, really resourceful. So, and the last thing I would like you to do is probably, if you want, you can fill out a workshop evaluation. So we can improve our programming, and the evaluation form is here. And then choose the qualitative data workshop. So, and also if you have more, if you encounter any difficulties or have more questions, you can definitely can reach out to the consultation, the one-on-one consultations at GCDI by using this link. For students, I just copy paste it there. And then another one is for the faculties, faculty consults. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. And then join a bunch of different GCDI group on the CUNY Academic Commons. So for example, in my data visualization group, I usually make a post every other week and also hold a meeting every other week. So you can check out some resources in the forum, in the posts, if you don't have time to attend the meet. So those resources are being selected by me and my colleague, so Connor. So they're very useful, and I think they can be also very helpful as well. And yeah. Yeah, please fill out the evaluation form so we can justify these workshops and keeping the digital files going. And yeah, if have any questions about installation, we can still have some time to solve it here. I can give you some feedback on that or suggestions or any comments. Any questions?
So Yusha, I actually have to get going at
Sure.
6.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks everybody for coming.
See ya.
Thank you, Connor. Michelle, will you save this recording in the Dropbox folder that you shared with us?
Yes, yeah, sure. I will save the recording, and then I think GCDI has to do some caption stuff on that,
Okay.
and then I will release the recording links or put it in the Dropbox. So sure, no problem. So thank you guys for joining in today.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.